Big thanks to Will, who is in the chat. Let's take Will's question. Do commercial brewers have to reduce the amount of bittering hops in comparison to a home brewer, since it takes a bit longer to chill the entire wort down to stop alpha acid isomerization? Yes. Yeah, man. For sure. I think that's one of the biggest differences. And really what we're talking about is it's a volume thing, right? So I'll open up the curtains here. When I was home brewing, I still used, I had a propane stove, and I had, it wasn't this big around. I had an aluminum turkey fryer that was only ever used for this, blah, blah, blah. And I put it over 2 burners. And that's how I boiled in my kitchen. I would do 5-gallon batches, 6 gallons of wort in there. And I only had one meaningful boil over that did permanently scar the surface of our kitchen stove. If you know, you know. But yeah, it's no fun. And but what I would do is, I was a crazy person, so I would have pre-chilled water because I had an immersion chiller. So I would kill my boil, and then this was dangerous, but I had a pre-chiller, so I had a smaller immersion chiller that was in a bucket of salt water, of ice water. So it was mostly ice, a little bit of water, and it was also salted to drop the freezing point of it. So I would push the tap water through that, and then that would feed the immersion chiller that was inside of my kettle. And then I would put the whole kettle into and I would immerse that in another ice bath. And so I would cool my 5 gallons down in about 5 minutes. Okay, down to pitching temperature. About 10 minutes for lagering temperature. I always thought that was cool. The reason that I mention it is everybody's cooling time is different. And when we get back to the volumetric side of it, the volume of everybody's kettle is different. The insulation level on everybody's kettle is different. There's a lot of factors that go into how long that liquid is going to be at that temperature. Factor in things like whirlpool rest, waiting for that wort to stop and settle, and then knockout timing. How long does it take to knock out or transfer that beer from a fully hot state to a fully cooled state in the fermenter? So as you mentioned, there's a lot of different variables on that side. The reality is a 0-minute edition or whirlpool edition, depending on how you look at it, or let's just call it a 1-minute edition, because we could all do a 1-minute edition, just boiling for 1 minute. In that kettle at home that I would have cold in 5 minutes, pitching temp in 5 minutes after I added the hops, I'm fundamentally going to get a different amount of bitterness than I am out of a 15-barrel kettle, a 30-barrel kettle, maybe a 3-barrel kettle even, because we are going to be whirlpooling that, waiting for it to rest, and then knocking it out. So you're still going to have a volume of it staying hot, even as you're beginning the cooling, right? So your instincts are right. I would encourage you to dig up an isomerization chart that will show you the percentage, or what is it, the efficiency of creating isomerized alpha acids at different temperatures, because that temperature might be a little bit lower than what you might think, because I do believe you are still isomerizing at 160 F. Pardon me to my international folks. But actually, let me dig it up real quick, because I'm tired of putting it back in later. Well, F to C. Fair. And what did I say? 160? Yeah, 71. 71C. I do think it's funny. Like I put a meme up the other day, and it was talking about understanding, because we think as an American brewer, I think in terms of pounds per barrel for dry hop in particular. That's just the metric that my brain uses. And like some people will like legitimately get irritated with you, and you're like, that is the stupidest thing. I'm like, it's what we were like. Like I get what you're talking about is easier, but this is what I was raised on. I'm almost 50. I'm sorry. But anyways, yeah. So that was that. But to dig back into your question, yeah, that isomerization can happen at lower temperatures. So what I would often find is people that don't account for that are going to be creating more bitterness with their later additions than they expected. Reason being, the reason why I focus on later additions is that when you look up that isomerization curve, the say your 60-minute addition, it really starts to taper. Oh, let me try to get in this line. It really starts to taper toward the end. And so like the longer you boil it, it's not just, you know, a straight rocket ship of added isomerization all the way to the moon, right? So yeah, that's kind of my thought there. But yeah, you're definitely going to be driving more. I have used the calculator through Beersmith and been fine with my calculations. Some people have also said they use the Hopsteiner calculator. But yeah. When I was first getting into it, ProMash would tell me that there was no IBU coming from that very, very late edition. And we've kind of grown from that point, right? So yeah, I would say that is one of the bigger adjustments that people have to make when they're scaling up to the next level. Will says, thanks. I only homebrew. Again, don't say you only homebrew. Thanks. You homebrew. You don't have to apologize for it. It's great. It's great. I homebrew, but I have been wondering about that for a while out of curiosity. Yeah, man, that's the deal. Your head was in the right spot, Will. I appreciate the question, brother. Good to see you in here.